Welcome to this Wednesday edition of Tullahoma 6 News in HD. I'm Jamie Treadwell, and coming up, counterfeit bills are showing up in the area.
And I'm Chris Farsad. We will hear about what took place during Monday's Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting. First on 6, this sales tax holiday buying season is slated to be a busy one. With an increase in buying and selling, it seems there is always an uptick in counterfeit bills being passed. The Franklin County Sheriff's Department has issued a warning to everyone in the area regarding the counterfeit bills. The department is encouraging everyone to take extra precaution when receiving cash for business transactions because counterfeit bills have been located. Anyone with information or concern should contact their local sheriff's department, and in Coffee County the number is 728-3591. The 2019 sales tax holiday begins at 12:01 a.m. Friday, July 26th and ends Sunday, July 28th at 11:59 p.m.
I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, yes.
Over 700 pounds of raw beef and pork have been recalled. Officials say the meat may have been contaminated by human blood. Alabama-based U.S. Foods issued the voluntary recall of 700 pounds of fresh and frozen beef and pork items produced on July 18th. An employee at their packing facility may have cut himself and contaminated the products. There have been no reported illnesses so far, and the meat in question has the establishment number of 21103 inside the USDA inspection mark and was sold to restaurants in the Southeast, including Tennessee.
And if you live in or near rural Moore County and hear loud bangs and see a lot of military personnel in the area on the night of the 29th, do not be alarmed. The United States Marine Corps will be conducting a training area in the Middle Tennessee area, and part of that training will be in Moore County. The training has been coordinated with local law enforcement and with property owners. Noise-making devices will be used that will produce sounds of periodic gunfire and explosions, but no live ammunition will be used. Military tactical vehicles will likely be used during the event. The training poses no threat to public safety and should last approximately 1 to 2 hours.
Might also be a good idea to put up pets and stuff.
Oh, yes.
I'd be alarmed by that. Congratulations are in order for the Tullahoma News. The News won 8 state press awards at the 2019 Tennessee Press Association annual banquet. We work closely with our news team partner and benefit from the excellent standards set by the group of writers and editors.
The Tullahoma Area Chamber of Commerce held the annual CEO Partner Kickoff yesterday morning at West Middle School. The program puts businesses in the area directly involved with the schools throughout the system. The long-term partnership fits right in with the goals set for the Tullahoma schools by Director John Carver. Here are Tisha Fritz and John Carver to tell us more about the partnership.
What the Chamber hopes to accomplish really is to be the facilitator of the communication between the business partners and the schools and back and forth. We want to provide those opportunities like our private Facebook group, our website, so that if anybody has a need, we're there to make that connection to fill it.
Well, you know, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, we want to start finding out what kids are passionate about, and we want to start giving them those skill sets so that upon graduation from high school, they're ready to enter the workforce. The world has changed, and it seems like sometimes public schools are the last to change. So by the CEO program, you know, our goal is to get teachers, get kids to see what's really out there. And the supplies and the financial support are important, but more important than that, to expose the kids as to what skill sets are they going to need to have when they graduate, start working on that now, and just spark that interest in the boys and girls.
They can visit the Chamber's website at tullahoma.org. There's a tab for our CEO program, and under that tab they can find this year's list of businesses and schools, and that would be how they could find that information. And a great way to support those businesses is just to reach out to them and, you know, periodically throughout the year, you know, do they need supplies? Is there something coming up? Is there an event that's happening that they can find a way to plug into? And I think that's a great way to be helpful. So just check our website and find that list there.
Well, there's no price to it. Again, schools can't operate in silos. Schools are an extension of the community. And what better way to get connected back to the community as to what careers, jobs, and opportunities there are here. You know, at the end of the day, we want folks to come to Tullahoma bring their families, and raise their kids in the Tullahoma City schools.
You might definitely want to check out that CEO partner list before heading out to do your school shopping to help those out that help our schools. Monday night, the Tullahoma Board of Aldermen, Mayor and Aldermen held their regular bi-monthly meeting, and city business was normal, but they did recognize some local history makers and learn about one of the area's largest employees' contributions to Apollo 11.
Yep, so I'm pleased to present this short summary of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting that was held on July the 22nd. So it was a pretty routine meeting, but the highlight to me, we had 3 or 4 special guests at the meeting. About a month or so ago, I naively reached out to Jason Austin, who's Public Affairs Director at AEDC, and because I'd enjoyed seeing some things on LightTube about the 50th anniversary of the landing on the moon. I've seen the PBS special that was on, and so I said, was AEDC involved in any way in the lunar landing 50 years ago? And he wrote back this really long email of all the things they were involved with, and I thought, wow, that's a great story that we need to let the people of Tullahoma know of the importance of AEDC 50 years ago. So I invited the AEDC historian. I invited a longtime Tullahoma resident, Sam Daughtry, who was on the ground at AEDC 50 years ago, involved in all this research and testing. And then I invited Dan and Fran Markham, who were the owners of Microcraft. Not at that point 50 years ago, but came shortly thereafter. So the historian just did an excellent job talking about AEDC's role 50 years ago in the development of Apollo 11. And then Sam Daughtry told some personal stories about what it was like to be on the ground and the pressures they felt and the instructions that they felt they were given by President Kennedy 8 years earlier, that we'll have a man on the moon this decade. So they were really challenged by that. And then Dan and Fran Markham's role, our Microcraft's role 50 years ago was, and I don't think a lot of people in Tullahoma know this, the flagpole that's on the moon was designed and built in Tullahoma, Tennessee by Microcraft. And I just think those are incredible stories that the people of Tullahoma should be very, very proud of the role that AEDC and Microcraft played in that very, very historic, I mean, I really think centuries from now, what will be remembered about the 20th century was man's walk on the moon. So probably not the best use of time perhaps at a city council meeting, but I just thought it was important that we share that story. The rest of the meeting was fairly routine. We had about 17 resolutions that we passed that funded organizations in Tullahoma, as we've done for decades now, Chamber of Commerce and other organizations like that. And so that's just a brief summary of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting of July the 22nd.
Coming up next on Tullahoma 6 News in HD, we'll hear tips about recognizing an overheated dog and emergency steps to take if it occurs.
And Susan discusses a historical fiction novel that focuses on the victims of a famous serial killer.
We've probably had LightTube service for 3 or 4 years. It's been fabulous, especially the fiber and quickness of it. Customer service has always been awesome with LightTube. Any issues, address it right away. We looked at a number of factors, just the speed and being able to, for the customer service of taking care of us if we've got an issue, and we saved a little bit of money as well.
You wanna dance?
Check out Stingray Music on TV. Now available, the new Stingray Music mobile app, free with your TV subscription. Stingray Music, all good vibes.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Does your family love to stream movies and use multiple Wi-Fi enabled devices? But are you finding out that your run-of-the-mill router simply can't keep up? Don't worry, LightTube has you covered with our internet router service for only $9.95 per month. Get back to what your family loves doing. Call us today at 455-4515 to learn more.
Welcome back to Tullahoma 6 News in HD. In this week's Book Talk, we visit with Susan Stovall, Director of Lanham Library, to see what she's reading and recommending right now for a good book. This week, it's The Five by Hallie Rubenhold. Here is Susan to tell us more about it.
We have The Five by Hallie Rubenhold. And if you're wondering who the five are, sounds kind of sinister, they are actually the 5 established victims of Jack the Ripper. You know, all sorts of numbers have been floated around for Jack the Ripper. And when I was younger, people said about 12. But then history, you know, we make gains in how we do historical analysis. And these 5 women are the 5 people that they are sure were the victims of the same killer known as Jack the Ripper. But she doesn't talk much about the Ripper. This is a really interesting book because her goal was to tell us about his victims and the truth about his victims, because what most of us think we know about his victims are not true. Everybody thinks he killed prostitutes. Only one of these 5 women were a prostitute. Now, one of the reasons we believe these things is because at the time, the newspapers that printed stuff tended to generalize, and like sometimes happens today, they wanted to sell their papers and they weren't always meticulous about their accuracy. And like I said, and there were all sorts of judgments made about poor people, and especially the women in Whitechapel. They were considered all morally degenerate and fallen women, when what they really were poor and often desperate. But 4 of these 5 women were simply homeless people. Now, we don't make the assumption nowadays that all the homeless women we encounter on the streets are prostitutes, because they're not. One of them even probably middle class. Now, most of them were born poor, and poor is what they were going to be. But one of them was even probably born middle class, and because she had a drinking problem, this is where she wound up. But it's, like I said, a real look at the period, the people who lived there, especially the people who history's not written about, the poor, and, you know, women, minorities. We kind of get left out of the big picture. So it's a really good look at that. And what's interesting is you can take what you learn from this and apply it, because a lot of the things still apply. The assumptions, the patronizing attitude, the kind of, oh, they brought it on themselves. What were they doing sleeping on the street? Well, they were sleeping on the street because they didn't have anywhere else. There was literally no other place for them to go. So the idea that they, quote unquote, brought it on themselves is repulsive in any terms. But anyhow, it's a great look at the history. Now, if you're looking for Ripperology and who was he and why, this book is not about this. This book is about the victims. Those 5, that's where the title comes from. But it's fascinating history, it's fascinating sociology, and if you're a crime expert, I think fanatic, I think you'll find that interesting too, because the victims are the other half of the equation, aren't they? But anyhow, something different.
Pets are just as susceptible to extreme temperatures as humans are. That also means that elderly and sick pets are even more at risk from temperature-related issues. In the final part of a 2-part series, Dr. Ross Capps with All Creatures Veterinary Clinic gives us advice on how to recognize distress and what to do if an emergency is detected. Here's Dr. Capps with more.
Yeah, really good question. Excessive panting will be the first sign of heat stroke, and it can happen pretty quick, especially in dogs like a pit bull or a bulldog. You know, dogs with a short nose, they call it a brachycephalic breed, like Boston Terriers, bulldogs. They'll overheat really easy, but the first signs are you know, excessive panting, and they'll lay down or seek water. And that's the first thing you need to watch out for. If they're laying down and panting a lot and not kind of, you know, catching their breath, I'd get them to the vet as quick as possible. If you could run the hose over them on your way to the vet and spray them with water really quick, that would be good. Or if you want to bring them on because they can go into shock and they need IV fluids sometimes. I usually see a few dogs a year. People are getting better with it, really. I usually see a few dogs a year, and it's not always in the hottest part of the summer like this when you're thinking, hey, it's hot outside, I can't take my dog. It's when it's 88 degrees. And you're like, well, I want to take my dog to the park. It's kind of getting into the fall weather here, maybe not 88, but 80, 85, and people will forget about that in their dogs that are not used to exercising, and it's still hot, kind of heat, and they'll overheat like that. So you got to be mindful even then. But yeah, excessive panting and laying down kind of on their side is usually the first sign of heat stroke. Older dogs, sick dogs, not acclimated dogs, don't get out there and run them 2 miles. Just a little bit and let them get used to it. But morning and evening, you're going to be okay for the most part. Yeah, they can call us. We have 3 clinics, and so we can get you in anytime. Pretty much, we have 7 doctors that work for us. And so, you can call us in Tullahoma at 931-455-6723. You can reach us on Facebook and email, so whatever you want to do there. But phone number, calling us on the phone is the best way to do it. And we can get you in. Sometimes we're already completely booked up. We may be able to get you in another clinic here or there. But if your pet's sick, call us and we'll get them in and we'll take care of them.
This week at the City of Tullahoma Animal Shelter, there's a 9-year-old pit mix named Bubba, still looking for a good home. This sweet old man really just wants to lay in the shade and get his little belly rubbed. He's low-key and relaxed, and he is also neutered. And Bubba, like all animals at the shelter, is looking for a forever home. So please give this old boy a chance to live out his golden years in comfort and love. Tullahoma Animal Shelter would like to remind you that they always have a great variety of dogs to choose from for adoption, and the shelter located at 942 Maplewood Avenue has an ongoing need for donations of dog-related items and monetary donations to provide medical care.
And South Jackson Civic Center will host the annual ice cream social tomorrow night beginning at 7 p.m. The South Jackson Street Band will start at 7:30, and Valerie Lawrence will be on hand to give swing dance lessons. Along with the band and dancing, there will be ice cream, of course, which will be a welcome treat during this summer heat. Take a blanket, chairs, or makings for a picnic and join everyone at 404 South Jackson Street. Tickets are $10 for the event and may be purchased in advance.
And we should have some highlights from that come Friday. On Saturday, July 27th, join Tullahoma Parks and Recreation along with the Coffee County Libraries for a guided tree identification hike at Short Springs. Hikers will also learn how to save, plant, and draw trees. There will be 2 hikes on Saturday, one beginning at 10 a.m. and another at 4 p.m. And hikers are to meet at the Short Springs Natural Area parking lot before each hike. Scheduled time to begin, and this is a free event, so but space is limited, so you must call 455-1121 to register.
And get your tickets now for the River Music Fest at Normandy Lake with Live and Let Die, the music of Paul McCartney featuring Tony Kishman, Chase Clanton and the Vintage Vibes, and many others will also be performing that evening. Tickets are $35 and benefit the Arrowhead Ranch for Boys. The event is August the 3rd, and they are expecting a sellout. You can order tickets by going to arrowheadranch.net or by calling 857-4000.
And join the Tullahoma Arts Center and artist Sarah Good for the opening of Contextual Narratives on Sunday, August the 3rd from 2 until 5 p.m. And Good Sculptures, oh, that's Saturday, not Sunday. Saturday, August 3rd from 2 until 5 p.m. Good Sculpture will be on display until the 24th. Admission is $5 for non-members and free for members. Go out and support our local arts center, and you can call 455-1234 for more information. Coming up next on Tullahoma 6 News in HD, we'll have your work week weather forecast for you.
And not only weather, but we'll also have a look at local sports right after this.
You wanna dance?
Check out Stingray Music on TV. Now available, the new Stingray Music mobile app, free with your TV subscription. Stingray Music, all good vibes.
You asked for it, we listened. Whole Home DVR is here. Record up to 3 of your family's favorite programs at once, anywhere in your home. Start a show in the living room, finish it in another room. For just $5 more a month, upgrade your existing DVR service. Call one of our friendly customer service representatives today. The number you know, 455-4515.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Cool off at Southern Middle Tennessee's newest water park, Tullahoma's Splash Island. Fun for all ages. 3 25-foot water slides, lazy river, fun water features for toddlers, tasty food items available. All this and more, only $5 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. or 4 to 9 p.m. Sundays, 1 to 6. Join the fun at Tullahoma's Splash Island.
Welcome back. Well, Chris, what's our National Day today?
Oh, today it's a very special one. Each year on July 24th, it's National Amelia Earhart Day, which honors the achievements of the aviation pioneer on the date of her birth. And today her successes continue to inspire women around the globe to the world of aviation. Celebrate National Amelia Earhart Day by researching and reading more about this famous female aviator. Add to your research other women aviation pioneers that led the way, such as Bessie Coleman and Louise Staden. And Louise Staden flew a Beech aircraft.
How about that?
And they have one out at Beechcraft Heritage Museum, similar to, not one of Louise's, but one similar to Louise's.
Interesting. Well, let's go see if it's a good day for flying, or flying a kite, which is what Randy would like to do. 86 for the high and low of 60, and you see that big ball of sunshine. Let's go see how long that's going to last. Well, even with the sun, it's not going to be too hot, Chris. It looks like 87 and then maybe 90 on Friday and 91 on Saturday. But look at those cool temps at night. Now, it's no rain in the forecast until Sunday, so you should have a great weekend for mowing your grass, Chris. 20% chance on Sunday and staying that way through Monday, so you get a little more water to help it grow next week. But some great temps, and that is a wonderful week. I don't see any wind, Randy, so maybe no kite flying. What's going on in sports, Chris?
And in local sports, the start of the youth soccer season may be affected by vandalism that occurred Saturday night at Johnson Lane Soccer Complex. As promised on Monday, we caught up with City of Tullahoma Parks and Recreation Director Kurt Glick to learn more about the damage and what all has been lost during the unfortunate event. Here is Kurt with more.
Looked like somebody had got a vehicle, at least one vehicle, maybe multiple vehicles on the fields, and did a lot of damage to the playing surface, spinning donuts or running around on the fields. There are tournament-sized fields out there. There's 4 tournament-sized fields lined up all side by side. They got on about the entire area. So the entire area had some tracks on it. Some areas a lot worse than other areas, of course. And you know, that being said, some of the ruts were not deep and some of them were very deep and took out big chunks. We're not really sure at this point right now. It's still kind of early on. There's several different methodologies we could take in repairing the fields, and that would determine the cost of it. So it's probably anywhere from thousands of dollars to tens of thousands of dollars, depending on how far we need to go to get them ready for the games, which will be in about a month from now. We probably spent $10,000 to $20,000 there, and that was not really water damage. That was from frost. We had that real bad frost the winter, and we got a lot of winter kill, as did most other areas that had Bermuda sports turf in the area. We have measures in place at a lot of the sports fields already. You know, of course, baseball and softball fields are traditionally fenced in, so that helps protect those fields. The soccer fields, it's such a large area and it's not fenced in right now. And I don't think we really desire putting a big chain link fence around the field, but we've been talking about putting some decorative fencing out there, but that would be decorative but also protect the fields and stop cars from being able to drive out on them. So that's what we're going to work on now. I think that would be our first step, is to protect the fields. There's been mention of security cameras, fencing, and whatever. So my first step is to be proactive, keep people off of them. The cameras are a good thing to have in place to catch somebody once they've done damage, but I want to stop it before it starts. But then security cameras in the future would be another addition. $500 is going toward information to lead to the arrest and conviction of the culprits. So, or any information that anyone may have, please call the police directly yourself. Let them know any information, even a small bit may help. Right, yeah, it's, you know, there's a lot of talk about the dollars that we're losing and the dollars that we're spending on this, but you got to think about what we're losing mostly as an opportunity cost, the opportunity to be able to use those fields. We'll have to have them shut down for a month while we repair them, so we've lost that opportunity. We've lost the opportunity to spend the money that we're going to spend repairing this needless damage, that we could have the opportunity to add new amenities and new things to our parks that that's lost now. So, you know, it's everybody loses in it. It's a lost situation for everybody.
The Tullahoma 12 and unders lost a grueling 10-0 contest to Morristown last Sunday during the Tennessee State Tournament in Bristol. The Cats beat Lexington on Saturday 2-1, and the tournament is a double elimination, so their chances to play for a state title were alive heading into Tuesday night's game against Smith County. Unfortunately, those dreams ended in a hard-fought game. Heading into the 6th inning, both teams were tied at 3 runs. In the bottom of the 6th, Smith County got a walk-off single to move ahead to 4 and took the game, sending Tullahoma 12 and unders home.
And Saturday night, Fellowship of Christian Athlete members from 10 area football teams received the chance to hear from former UT Volunteer and Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Josh Dobbs. Dobbs was hosted by Grace Baptist Church and spoke with Pastor McGehee about his accomplishments and how he achieved them, primarily with a focus on his faith. He extensively spoke about games and plays from both college and professional athletics. Those young men and women really received a treat in their getting to hear from a top-notch person and athlete. And that wraps up our local sports, and we will be back with a few final thoughts right after this.
Well, before we leave you today,
I forgot we weren't going to the commercial this time.
That's right. We'd like to thank our news team members, 93.9 The Duck, and your local newspaper, the Tullahoma News, for their help and support.
And if you'd like to be a part of the team, send an email to news@lighttube.net or just call our news hotline at 571-7186. Be sure to let us know about any upcoming activity, event, or story idea, and we'll do our best to get the word out. You can also like us on Facebook. Just search for TUA LightTube, where we update you on the latest news and events.
And that's it for this Wednesday edition of Tullahoma 6 News in HD. As always, we thank you for watching, and we hope you'll join us again on Friday.
Have a great evening, and we will see you again on Friday.